The fluorescent lights of Morrison State University flickered against the September twilight as Amara Okonkwo pushed through the library's heavy oak doors. Her braids, freshly done the weekend before, swung against her backpack as she clutched her biology textbook closer to her chest. 2 weeks. She'd been in America for exactly 2 weeks, and already the weight of invisibility pressed against her shoulders like humid Lagos air. She didn't see him coming. One moment she was navigating the crowded hallway, the next she was stumbling backward, her books exploding across the polished floor in a cascade of paper and highlighted pages. Her chemistry notes skidded under someone's feet. Her worn copy of Their Eyes Were Watching God landed spine up, pages crumpling. "Oh God, I'm so sorry." Amara looked up, already forming an apology, and froze. Garrett Mitchell stood above her, his hand extended, his expression caught between horror and concern. The Garrett Mitchell. Even in her 2-week cocoon of adjustment, she'd heard the whispers. Star quarterback. Dean's List every semester. The boy whose smile supposedly made girls forget their own names. Behind him, the hallway had gone silent. Amara could feel the eyes. Dozens of them. Watching. Calculating. She glanced at his outstretched hand as if it were something dangerous. "Please," he said, his voice softer than she expected. "Let me help." What happened next would later feel like slow motion in her memory. Garrett Mitchell, the boy who apparently never helped anyone, who walked through Morrison State like he owned it, dropped to his knees and began gathering her books. His fingers were careful with her notes, respectful with her papers. He stacked them neatly, then stood and offered them to her with both hands, like a gift. "I really am sorry," he said, and his blue eyes held something she couldn't quite name. Amara took her books without a word and walked away, her heart hammering against her ribs. She could feel the hallway exhale behind her, could hear the murmurs starting like a brush fire. She didn't look back. It started the next day. Garrett appeared outside her intro to psychology class, leaning against the wall with the kind of casual confidence that seemed woven into his DNA. When Amara walked past without acknowledging him, she caught the flash of surprise in his expression. "Hey!" he called after her. "Wait up!" She kept walking. He tried again after her English literature class, then outside the dining hall, then near the student center, where he somehow knew she'd be picking up her mail. Each time, Amara's response was the same. Polite distance, a small shake of her head, a quickening of her pace. Back home in Lagos, her mother had warned her. "American boys will be different," she'd said, folding Amara's clothes into the battered suitcase. "Especially the white ones. They'll see you as exotic, as something to collect. Don't let them omo me. Don't let anyone make you forget who you are." So Amara built her walls higher. She studied in her dorm room instead of the library. She ate lunch alone, her phone propped against her tray, pretending to video chat with friends back home. She made herself small, invisible, safe. But Garrett Mitchell didn't stop trying. Madison Pierce watched from across the quad, her manicured nails digging crescents into her palm. She'd known Garrett since freshman year, had sat next to him in Calculus 2, had laughed at his jokes at every party. She'd worn her best dresses, perfected her smile, learned his schedule. And for 3 years, he'd looked past her like she was wallpaper. Now he was chasing some random black girl who'd been on campus for less than a month. "This is ridiculous," Madison hissed to Chelsea Vance, who stood beside her holding an iced coffee. "Who does she think she is?" Chelsea's expression was cold. "Maybe we should remind her where she stands." That night, the first stone hit Amara's window at 2:47 a.m. She bolted upright in bed, her heart in her throat, the crack of impact still echoing in her ears. Another stone followed, then another. When she finally worked up the courage to peek through the blinds, she saw nothing but darkness and the shadowy outline of the oak tree outside. The next morning, she found "Go Home" scratched into the paint of her door. The harassment escalated like a fever. Someone poured juice on her seat in the lecture hall. Her laundry disappeared from the communal dryer, returned days later covered in bleach stains. Anonymous messages flooded her Instagram. "You don't belong here. Nobody wants you. Leave while you still can. Amara stopped sleeping through the night. She stopped eating in the dining hall. The walls she'd built around herself became a fortress, and inside it, she was slowly suffocating. Still, Garrett kept appearing. Outside her classes, in the coffee shop where she'd started hiding. He never pushed, never demanded, just offered that same gentle smile and asked how her day was going. Why? She finally asked him one afternoon, her voice sharp with exhaustion. Why do you keep bothering me? He looked genuinely confused. Bothering you? I just want to get to know you. You don't know anything about me. That's kind of the point of getting to know someone, he said. And there was no sarcasm in his voice, just honest curiosity. I saw you in the library before we crashed into each other. You were reading The Bluest Eye and crying. Real crying, not the performative kind. I thought you were interesting. Amara stared at him, something cracking in her chest. Well, I'm not interested. She walked away before he could see the tears. It happened on a Thursday night during the blackout. Amara was walking back from the library. She'd finally felt brave enough to study there again, when the campus lights died. The generator, which should have kicked on immediately, remained silent. The pathways plunged into darkness so complete she couldn't see her own hands. She heard them before she saw them. Footsteps, multiple pairs, moving fast. There she is. Amara ran. She didn't make it 10 steps before they caught her. Hands grabbed her backpack, yanking her backward. She hit the ground hard, her palms scraping against concrete. Someone kicked her in the ribs. Another grabbed her braids and pulled. You think you're special? Madison's voice cut through the darkness. You think Garrett actually cares about you? A fist connected with Amara's jaw. Then another, and another. She tasted blood, felt her eye swelling, heard her own voice crying out, begging them to stop. They didn't stop. When the lights finally flickered back on 15 minutes later, Amara was alone on the pathway, curled into herself, pain radiating through every part of her body. Through her good eye, she saw students emerging from buildings, their faces lit by phone screens, most of them looking anywhere but at her. Garrett found her 20 minutes later in the emergency room. Jesus Christ, he breathed, looking at her face. The doctors had said nothing was broken, but the bruising was spectacular. Her right eye was swollen shut, her lips split, her ribs wrapped tight. How did you know I was here? Amara asked, her voice strange through her swollen mouth. Campus security called me. They found my number in your phone under Don't Answer. He tried to smile but failed. Who did this to you? Amara looked away. It doesn't matter. The hell it doesn't. Garrett. She forced herself to meet his eyes. Just leave it alone. Leave me alone. This is what happens when girls like me catch attention from boys like you. I should have known better. Girls like you. His voice rose. Amara, you didn't do anything wrong. Whoever did this has connections, has money, has every advantage. Amara felt the tears coming and hated herself for them. I'm alone here. I have nobody. No family, no lawyers, no protection. Do you understand? This is how it works. Garrett's jaw tightened. Then we change how it works. For 2 weeks, nothing happened. Amara healed slowly, the bruises fading from purple to yellow-green. She filed a report with campus security that went nowhere. She met with the dean of students who offered sympathy and vague promises. Madison and Chelsea and their friends walked past her in the hallways with smug smiles, untouchable. What Amara didn't know was that Garrett had stopped sleeping too. He'd started following Madison and her group, sitting near them in the dining hall, positioning himself outside their sorority house. He had his phone out constantly, recording, watching, waiting. He caught them talking about it on a Tuesday afternoon outside the student center. I still can't believe we got away with it, Chelsea laughed, scrolling through her phone. My dad's lawyer didn't even have to do anything. They just dropped it. Please, like they were ever going to side with her over us. Madison's voice was casual, almost bored. She should have taken the hint and left when we told her to. Do you think she'll actually press charges? Another girl asked nervously. With what evidence? Madison smirked. It was dark. No cameras on that pathway. No witnesses except us, and we'll just say we were in the library. It's her word against ours, and we all know whose word matters more. Garrett's hand shook as he stopped the recording. He went to the police first. They took his statement, listened to the recording, and promised to investigate. But days passed with no movement. Garrett called daily. They told him these things took time. They told him the case was complicated. They told him to be patient. So Garrett went to the campus newspaper, then the local news. Then he uploaded the recording to every social media platform he could find, tagging Morrison State University, tagging the local police department, tagging anyone who might listen. The video went viral in 6 hours. By midnight, it had 2 million views. By morning, it was on national news. Students were protesting outside the administration building. Alumni were calling for investigations. The police, suddenly energized, announced arrests were imminent. Madison Pierce, Chelsea Vance, and 3 other girls were arrested at 6 a.m. on a Friday morning, cameras rolling as they were led out of their sorority house in handcuffs. The charges were substantial: assault and battery, conspiracy to commit assault, witness intimidation, hate crime enhancements. Madison's father's lawyers tried to intervene, tried to make it disappear like before, but the public outrage was too loud, too sustained. The district attorney, facing an election year, announced she would personally prosecute. The trial lasted 3 weeks. Amara sat in the courtroom every day, Garrett beside her. She testified about the harassment, the attacks, the fear that had become her constant companion. The defense lawyers tried to discredit her, tried to suggest she'd provoked the attacks, tried to paint her as an outsider who didn't understand how things worked at Morrison State. The jury didn't buy it. Madison Pierce was sentenced to 5 years in state prison. Chelsea Vance got 4. The others received sentences ranging from 2 to 3 years, plus probation and mandatory community service. Their lawyers filed appeals immediately, but the judge's message was clear: wealth and connections would not protect them from the consequences of their hatred. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. Amara stood on the steps, Garrett's hand steady in hers, and spoke into a forest of microphones. I came to America because my mother believed it was a place where hard work and education mattered more than the color of your skin or who your family was, she said, her voice strong despite the tremor underneath. What happened to me almost broke that belief. But what happened after, the students who protested, the strangers who supported me, the justice that was finally served, that showed me my mother wasn't entirely wrong. This country has a long way to go. But maybe, if enough people refuse to look away, it can get there. 2 years later, Amara stood in the same library where everything had started, her biology textbook tucked under her arm. She'd changed majors to pre-law. She'd started a campus organization for international students. She'd learned to take up space instead of making herself small. Garrett was waiting for her outside, just like he had been 100 times before. But now, when she walked toward him, she didn't walk past. She walked to him, rose on her toes, and kissed him gently. "Ready?" he asked. "Always," she said. They walked across campus together as the autumn leaves fell around them. 2 people who'd learned that sometimes the hardest battles are the ones that change not just individuals, but entire systems. Behind them, Morrison State University hummed with activity, forever altered by a black girl who refused to disappear and a white boy who refused to look away. And in a state prison 200 miles away, Madison Pierce sat in her cell, understanding finally that there were some things money couldn't buy and some consequences that connection couldn't erase. The hatred that had consumed her had led only to these gray walls, this small window, this lifetime of regret. Justice, as it turned out, had a longer memory than privilege. If the story moved you in any way, please take a second to like this video, subscribe, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one.